Welcome to the deep dive. You know, we are unpacking something today that honestly affects anyone who is tracking business or tech right now. And I want to start by throwing a really big high-level question your way.
All right, lay it on me. Let's hear it.
So, if artificial intelligence is, exponentially smarter today than it was even a year ago, I mean, if it can write complex code and uh, analyze these massive global data sets and supposedly do the work of an entire department,
Jeff?
why in the world do these massive corporations still need to hire, like, absolute armies of human consultants just to use it?
That really is the defining business question of the moment. It's huge because we are watching enterprise AI shift from this fascinating science experiment into a massive, highly complicated industrial deployment.
Right.
And the reality is, having the smartest algorithm in the world, it doesn't automatically fix a broken supply chain, or streamline a bank's loan approval process.
Exactly. So basically, for you listening, we're asking if AI is so incredibly smart, why can't companies just buy a subscription, plug it in, and let it run?
Yeah, the plug-and-play myth.
Right. So today, we are looking past all that technology hype, completely tailored for you, to understand how these tools actually get implemented in the real world.
Yeah.
And what that tells us about the shifting landscape of enterprise AI.
And to really understand that context, we need to look at a major news event that kind of perfectly illustrates this shift.
Okay, let's get into it.
So on June 4th, 2026, IBM and Google Cloud announced this massive strategic partnership.
Right. Let's actually just pause on that term for a second. Strategic partnership. Take a moment to just absorb that phrase. Because whenever we hear that, it can sometimes sound like just empty corporate jargon.
Oh, definitely.
But in the boardroom, a strategic partnership means two massive companies are legally aligning their resources because neither one can capture the market alone.
Exactly. And the specific action here is that IBM Consulting is officially launching a brand new Google Cloud practice.
Okay, so a dedicated practice inside IBM just for Google Cloud.
Right. And the way they are positioning this IBM and Google Cloud explicitly say this move is to help clients scale adoption of AI and accelerate their cloud transformation.
Scale adoption, which essentially means moving beyond just having, like, 10 employees testing a chatbot, right? It's getting 10,000 employees actually using the tools daily.
Right. It's moving from the pilot phase to the whole company.
And then cloud transformation, let's pause on that one too. Cloud transformation, that's moving all of a company's outdated localized computer servers onto modern cloud networks.
Yeah, that is the foundational step. And to understand why this partnership is such a big deal, we really need to look under the hood.
Definitely.
We have to unpack the specific tools and platforms each company is bringing to the table here.
Well, let's start with Google's contribution then, because the announcement highlighted a very specific stack of tech. But, let's not just list the software, because that gets boring fast.
Right, nobody wants just a feature list.
Exactly. Walk me through this. Let's imagine a real-world scenario. Let's say a global shipping company that's facing a massive supply chain crisis.
Yeah.
How do Google's specific tools actually work together to fix that?
I love that example. Okay, so in our shipping company scenario, the whole process starts with Google's BigQuery.
BigQuery.
Right. BigQuery is their massive data warehouse. This is where the shipping company stores decades of historical data. So global weather patterns, port delays, ship maintenance records, real-time inventory.
Okay, so BigQuery is basically the memory. It holds all the raw material.
Yes, exactly. But raw data by itself does not make decisions. You can't just stare at a spreadsheet. That data needs to be fed into Vertex AI.
Vertex AI.
Right. Google positions Vertex AI as its platform for building and managing enterprise AI applications. It's basically the developer's workshop.
Okay, the workshop.
And inside Vertex AI, the shipping company's engineers can take the powerful Gemini models.
Wait, and Gemini, just to clarify for everyone, Gemini being Google's actual artificial intelligence brain.
Right.
The foundation model that can reason and, generate text or code.
Exactly. Gemini is the brain. So the engineers use Vertex AI to train the Gemini models on the specific BigQuery data. So now the brain actually understands the company's specific shipping routes.
Wow, okay.
But then you have another really critical layer in the stack, which is Google Agent Space.
Google Agent Space.
Yeah. They introduced this as an enterprise agent experience. Its job is to connect the AI's knowledge to actual actions across different systems.
Oh, I see. So if Gemini realizes, like, a storm's going to delay a ship, Agent Space is the tool that actually reaches out to the logistics software and alerts the warehouse.
That is exactly the goal. It takes the action. And finally, you have Google Distributed Cloud. This allows the shipping company to run all of these intense computing workloads locally.
Oh, locally, like not in the cloud.
Well, like on the actual cargo ships, where the internet connection might be really spotty, they don't have to rely on a distant data center to make quick decisions.
Okay, so that is an incredibly comprehensive toolkit from Google. BigQuery, Vertex AI, Gemini, AgentSpace, distributed cloud. But, wait, let me push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
If Gemini is smart enough to read and process all this data, and AgentSpace is capable of actually taking action, why involve IBM at all?
Ah.
I mean, why pay IBM Consulting millions of dollars? Couldn't the shipping company's own IT department just log into Vertex AI, use those tools, and build this themselves? Doesn't the AI just sort of figure out the shipping routes on its own?
What you just said, that is the exact assumption that gets companies into so much trouble.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. The AI is our brilliant reasoning engine, yes, but it does not inherently know the specific compliance laws of European ports, you know? It does not know the union rules for dock workers in California. And it certainly doesn't know how to safely rewrite the code for the shipping company's legacy accounting software that was built, like, 20 years ago.
Ah, okay. So it has the raw intelligence, but it lacks the context. Like it doesn't know the rules of the road.
Precisely. And that is where IBM steps in. IBM brings its consulting workforce. But it's not just human beings giving advice, right? IBM explained that this new Google Cloud practice is backed by something called IBM Consulting Advantage.
IBM Consulting Advantage. And they describe this as their AI-powered delivery platform. Let's actually pause on that phrase, delivery platform.
Right.
Because for you listening, this isn't just a PowerPoint presentation that consultants hand over. A delivery platform is a suite of pre-configured software templates, automated testing frameworks, code generators. It's what the IBM consultants bring with them to actually deliver the project.
Yes, exactly. It's their toolkit. IBM claims that this Consulting Advantage platform allows their teams to inject AI-generated domain expertise into the actual transformation work.
Okay, hold on. Domain expertise. That's a crucial term to lock in. Let's pause so you can catch that. Domain expertise.
It's a big one.
Yeah. It simply means having deep, specialized knowledge of a particular industry. Knowing the specific rules of the game for, say, financial services or telecommunications, or, in our example, global maritime shipping.
Right, and that domain expertise is what actually translates raw computing power into a functional business tool.
Let me try an analogy here just to make this really concrete, see if I'm visualizing this correctly.
Hmm.
Let's compare this to building a massive high-performance factory, or actually, let's say a high-end commercial restaurant.
Okay, I like restaurants.
Right. So Google is providing the raw ingredients in the pantry, that's BigQuery. They are providing the state-of-the-art kitchen equipment, that's Vertex AI. Gemini is the highly skilled chef. And AgentSpace is the system managing the waiters so they know what to take to the tables.
That maps out perfectly so far.
But you can't just put a chef in a kitchen with ingredients and expect a successful business. You need IBM as the master restaurant consultant. IBM brings the domain expertise. They write the menu tailored for the local neighborhood's tastes. They organize the floor plan so the waiters don't crash into each other. They train the staff on health and safety regulations. Without IBM's delivery assets, you just have a very expensive, very chaotic kitchen.
That analogy captures a dynamic perfectly. Google supplies the incredible capabilities, the raw machinery, but IBM provides the architectural know-how to ensure the kitchen actually serves meals efficiently. And IBM notes that using their platform accelerates time to value.
Time to value. Let's definitely clarify that for our listeners. Let's pause here. Time to value.
It's a very common metric.
Right. Because buying software is just a transaction, you know. It happens in an instant. But time to value measures the duration between signing that contract and the moment that software actually saves your company $1 or makes your company $1.
And in enterprise technology, a long time to value often means a project is failing. Executives want to shrink that timeline. They want the financial return quickly, which is exactly why they are willing to pay a premium for IBM's delivery platform.
Wow. Okay. And according to both companies, the ultimate goal of combining these forces is to help organizations build a multi-agent system. Let's pause on that. Multi-agent system.
This is a fascinating concept, honestly.
Yeah, because we are not just talking about a single chatbot that answers HR questions anymore, are we?
Yeah.
We're talking about a network of different specialized AI agents coordinating their work seamlessly across an entire enterprise.
Right. Imagine it in our shipping company scenario. You have an AI inventory agent constantly checking BigQuery. When it sees a shortage, it communicates autonomously with a separate AI logistics agent.
Just talking to each other.
Yeah, and then that logistics agent checks weather patterns using Gemini, and then communicates with a third AI purchasing agent to automatically draft a contract for new supplies.
So they are communicating, moving data, executing tasks, and a human doesn't have to click a button at every single step.
Exactly. It's a system of agents. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, we really have to shift our focus from just the mechanics of the tech to the broader business economics.
Right, the so what?
Yeah. Why does this specific partnership signal a massive shift in how AI is bought and sold globally?
Well, yeah, why does this change the landscape for you as a listener? Whether you're, building tech, selling it, or using it.
Because the nature of enterprise AI has fundamentally moved. 2 years ago, companies were obsessed with a model selection problem.
Just picking the smartest AI.
Right. They were just trying to figure out if they should use OpenAI or Google's Gemini or Anthropic. It was this massive race for the smartest foundation model.
But
Now, it has evolved into a full-stack commercialization problem. A remarkably strong model platform, like what Google offers, is simply not enough if a company cannot integrate that AI into a business-critical system.
let's pause there again. Business critical system. Take a second to internalize that. Business critical system.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is the core software that a company absolutely needs to survive on a daily basis. For a bank, it's their transaction ledger. For an airline, it's the ticketing and reservation database. If a business-critical system goes down, the company stops making money instantly.
Which means executives are terrified, literally terrified of letting experimental AI touch those systems. A multi-agent system only creates real financial value when it is hooked up to actual company data, operational controls, and an enterprise workflow.
Enterprise workflow. Let's hit that term, too.
Yeah.
Pause here. Enterprise workflow. Those are the established, step-by-step daily business processes that employees follow to get work done.
Yes. If your brilliant AI agent cannot actually securely access your inventory database to reorder parts, it is just a very smart conversationalist.
Right.
It can tell you that you are out of stock, but it isn't actually doing the work of reordering.
Man, this sounds incredibly disruptive. Because to actually connect these AI agents to a business-critical system, you have to open up the deepest, most sensitive parts of a company's infrastructure.
Which is exactly where the bottleneck happens. This raises a crucial point about the strategic reality of large enterprises. To make a multi-agent system work, these organizations usually need massive process redesign. They need human change management. And above all else, they require modernization of their core systems.
Modernization. Let's make sure we define this clearly in context. Take a pause. Modernization.
It's not just buying new laptops.
No, modernization is the painstaking act of upgrading old, outdated technology infrastructure so it can actually talk to new software. Because you cannot plug a futuristic Google agent space into a database built in 1998 and expect it to work.
No, it will fail immediately.
The legacy system literally does not have the digital hooks, the APIs for the AI to grab onto.
Right. The foundation has to be modernized first. You have to undergo modernization so that your enterprise workflow can actually support the new technology. And modernizing a massive legacy system is not something an AI can just do by itself overnight.
No.
It requires human engineers mapping out decades of old, undocumented code.
Okay, this is a major realization for you as a listener, especially if you are tracking where the global budget is flowing in the tech industry right now. As AI moves out of the experimental pilot phase and into the real messy world of legacy corporate networks, the services and consulting firms might actually capture a huge portion of the financial value here.
Oh, they stand to capture an enormous share. Because the heavy lifting is no longer just training the model. The heavy lifting is the modernization and the integration.
Which leads us to another fascinating layer of this announcement. This strategic partnership is just as much a go-to-market strategy as it is a technology strategy. Let's pause on that term. Go-to-market.
Very important concept.
A go-to-market strategy is the master business plan for how a company reaches its target customers, prices its product, and achieves a competitive advantage in the real world.
And Google's go-to-market strategy for enterprise AI is becoming very, very clear. Platform vendors like Google absolutely need trusted delivery channels.
Right.
They cannot just sell subscriptions through a website to a Fortune 500 bank. They need Partners with huge implementation capacity.
Implementation capacity. Let's break that down. Take a quick pause. Implementation capacity.
Okay.
This simply means having the actual human and technical resources required to make a complex plan work in reality.
Exactly.
It's not about having a good idea. It's about having enough engineers, enough project managers, and enough time to actually build the idea safely.
And most corporations simply do not have the internal implementation capacity to overhaul their own systems for AI. I mean, they are already busy just keeping the lights on.
So if you're in a meeting, and someone suggests buying a huge new AI software package, the absolute smartest question you can ask is, do we currently have the implementation capacity to integrate this without breaking our current operation?
And usually, honestly, the answer is no.
Right.
Which is exactly why Google needs IBM. A bank executive might be extremely nervous about buying raw AI tools directly from a tech company. They worry about data privacy, they worry about AI hallucinations, regulatory fines.
All the risks.
Right. But that same executive feels much safer buying a fully managed end-to-end transformation project that's guided by a trusted advisor like IBM Consulting.
Ah, so IBM acts as the trust layer. Google gets their technology adopted at a massive scale, hitting their go-to-market goals, and IBM gets to lead the highly lucrative multi-year consulting engagements.
Exactly. It fundamentally shifts how we view the AI landscape. The platform and the service are mutually dependent.
They really are inextricably linked at this point in the maturity curve. You cannot sell the enterprise platform without the delivery service to back it up.
No, you really can't.
This completely changes the narrative.
Yeah.
We spend so much time reading headlines about the models themselves, like how many parameters they have or how well they score on standardized tests. But in the boardroom, the real conversation is about implementation capacity, modernization, and time to value.
And when you understand the vocabulary of the boardroom, you understand the underlying economics of the technology.
Okay, we have covered a massive amount of ground today. We started with just a single news announcement about Google Cloud and IBM, and we unpackaged the entire economic reality of enterprise AI.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. We explored how tools like BigQuery, Vertex AI, and Gemini actually interact to form multi-agent systems, and why those systems are useless without deep modernization of business-critical systems.
It's a complex ecosystem, but understanding how all these pieces fit together is just essential for anyone navigating the business world today.
Definitely. So to make sure this all sticks, let's distill everything we've discussed into 3 crisp, memorable takeaways for you to take back to your desk.
I'll take the first one. Takeaway number 1. Enterprise AI is no longer a model selection problem. It has evolved into a full-stack commercialization challenge. Having the smartest foundation model is simply not enough. The real challenge is integrating that model deeply into a company's existing and often outdated infrastructure.
Excellent. Takeaway number 2. AI tools, no matter how incredibly smart they are, only generate real financial value when they are connected to real, modernized workflows and operational controls. A multi-agent system is just an expensive toy if it cannot interact safely with your business-critical systems. The core technology foundation must be modernized before the AI can take action.
And takeaway number 3. Cloud and model vendors, no matter how large they are, desperately need the trusted delivery channels of massive consulting firms. This is their primary go-to-market strategy for the enterprise level. The raw technology platforms and the human services that implement them are now inextricably linked. You cannot successfully scale adoption of one without the other.
Which brings us right back to our opening thought. AI is not a simple magical device where you just plug it in and immediately get a streamlined business. It is that complex restaurant kitchen we talked about. You can buy the most advanced robotic ovens in the world and hire the smartest chef. But if you do not have the master architects and the domain experts to organize the floor plan and write the menu, those tools just sit there.
Exactly. The human expertise, the implementation capacity, and the domain knowledge. That is what actually turns the raw technology into a measurable business outcome.
Absolutely. And that leaves us with a final provocative question for you, our listener, to mull over. We would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments because there is no single right answer yet, and the market is still deciding.
Yes. Considering everything we have discussed today about where the real value and the real friction lies in this technology.
As a business buyer, where do you think the most budget should go? If you had $10 million to invest in upgrading your company, should you prioritize buying the absolute best, most expensive model capability? Should you invest heavily in platform tooling like Vertex AI? Or should you spend the vast majority of your budget on the implementation strength of consultants to ensure the technology actually works within your legacy systems?
It is a really difficult balancing act for any executive, and I am very curious to hear your perspectives. Thank you for diving deep into the realities of enterprise AI with us today. Your commitment to understanding not just the technology, but the business systems behind it is what makes these discussions so rewarding.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, for learning with us, and for taking the time to truly understand the shifting landscape of business technology. Let us know your strategy in the comments. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and we will see you on the next deep dive.